Welcome into Side Sessions here. Steven Strom, Jack McMullen. How about this for our visual audience? We've got Thomas White and Joe Mack on camera here. This will be streaming live on X and YouTube. Our poor audio audience cannot see. These guys are good-looking guys. I mean, let's start here. I mean, these guys are good-looking baseball players, but we are bringing you guys on here for the Futures game. We'll start here with Joe Mack, because for Thomas White, this is whatever. This is second time. Joe Mack, how'd you get the call and just your excitement level to participate in this on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, taking it back to a couple weeks ago in Syracuse, we were just, playing games and we finished the game, we won, and came in, and our manager wanted everybody in the locker room, and basically gave a quick speech and then told me. So it was really cool, and a lot of cool experience to celebrate it with your teammates and your coaches and all that stuff. And I'm very, very excited to be selected for this opportunity and get to go out and perform for the team and just have a good time. So I'm very, very excited.
Thomas, I'll show you some love here. I know Logan to DFW was probably okay for your family to get to the Futures game last year, but Logan to Atlanta is way easier. How about Boston to Atlanta? How much family are you going to have at the Futures game, if any?
Just my parents, honestly. It's definitely an easier trip, but I think having it be on TV is a lot easier for a lot of people. So, it's cool, like the, hi mom, I'm on TV stuff, but I'll have a ton of people watching from back home, but just my parents are going to be down there. We're going to be hanging out, having a good time. So it's a great area, and we look forward for the weekend.
Now, which one of you guys is going to put in the request to Chipper Jones to catch each other, or Joe to catch Thomas? Is that a Joe question that he's got to ask Chipper Jones, or is that Thomas saying, like, hey, I would love to throw to Joe Mack in this one?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
A little bit of both.
I think dream scenario would be get a little start. I get the start and Joe can catch me, so we get the whole warm up together. I think that would be dream scenario. But I don't know if we have that kind of pull.
How often do you guys throw it to each other, at least in spring training this year?
A couple times. I think I've caught you like 3-4 times maybe in spring training.
Yeah,
and then
this year more than last.
Yes, yeah, a little bit, but I didn't catch you in a game, did I?
No, we had a couple bullpens, maybe a live VP, if that. Mm-hmm. Definitely no game action there.
Yeah, so we got to get our game going.
Yeah. So I've thrown to Augustin more than I've thrown to Joe.
That's crazy.
So, do top prospects stick together? Are you guys like good friends off the field? Just how would you describe both of your guys' relationships? I know you guys technically haven't played together, but how would you describe kind of your friendship and relationship on the field and off the field?
I'll go first. I know Joe, but I don't know him because obviously we never play together. We don't spend every day together, but I'd say every time we see each other in the clubhouse, we'll say what's up, catch up, see how each other are doing. But he's too good of a hitter for me to spend that much time around him right now. So I'm looking forward to getting to know him a little more. But I'd say we're good friends.
I'd say so too. I agree. I mean, every time we've been in the clubhouse together, we've talked and said hi, and whenever we've had a chance to work together as battery mates, it kind of furthermores the relationship there. But like you said, I'm looking forward to keep continuing to get to know him and play with him as time goes on. So I'm very excited for that.
Joe Mack, I want to hop into this with you because everybody that we've talked to that has thrown to you in AAA that has come up, and all the coaches around here in Miami are saying this guy is special behind the plate, and the relationship he develops with pitchers is special. The way that he calls a game, receives, blocks, it's special. Why do they use the word special about you? What do you feel like could make you a special catcher?
I feel like, it's kind of different because different teams have different people and, different players of some sorts. And I feel like for me, I'm a guy who, wants the absolute best out of everybody, the pitchers, especially because we're working together and, I'm back there fighting for you. I'm always trying to work for you and going with you. And, if I see something or anything, I'm always open to say it. I don't want to hold anything back, and I want to be super honest with you guys and just, help you be as best as you can. And, the blocking, the receiving, the throwing, that's all the work that, we've done as kids, as, pros, as minor leaguers, as all that stuff. So it's just continuing to like refine that, get better at that, and, just give it all to the pitchers because, we're here for you guys and we want the absolute best for you. So, trying to create good relationships on the field and then also off the field as well.
Thomas, we saw you be drafted in 23, so this is technically your second full season of professional ball. A little bit of a newer staff for you. You've jumped up and been promoted a level. Just overall thoughts on 2025, how you're feeling and where you feel like you're headed.
I'm feeling pretty good overall. I think there's a lot of things that I personally think I could do a lot better. The numbers are fine. They're doing pretty good, but in my opinion, I could be a lot better. Just more consistent, less walks, that kind of thing. And I think, getting to Double-A and getting around Jared Eichhoff, the pitching coach here, he's been great so far. And then just kind of simplifying and not trying to do too much and realize that I do have a little bit of time to work on some stuff. So I think just honestly just simplifying, and then the stuff is good and it'll continue to get better the more that I guess stop thinking on the mound as much. And I think the more I continue to do that and kind of prove to myself that I really can make the game as simple as possible, and then I think the stuff will just progressively get a little better as we go. So I'm just going to keep working my butt off and we'll see how it goes.
Both of you guys are kind of in the driver's seat where it comes to the Marlins' new school approach to pitching. And this year it's been a little bit of an overhaul, I'd say. The director of pitching, Bill Heasel, we had a great conversation with him, and Bill was saying that he wants cohesion from the top down. So from the big leagues all the way to the complex at Jupiter and the Dominican Summer League. And Thomas, you literally just got done with a pitch design session. I'm sure it's a carbon copy of what the big league pitchers are doing right now. But Joe, I'm curious from a catching perspective, what has your experience been like with the kind of new overhauled approach to pitching within the Marlins organization? Because you saw the old version of it over the last few years, and you're seeing the new and improved version of it right now.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen a lot of good positive outcomes, like with the pitch designs, like the pitching coaches being out there for them all the time, working with them, the analysts being out there for TrackMan and, all that stuff with everything. I think it's a very good thing because, the guys go out there, try different grips, try different things, and always trying to improve on things. If they do very well, they'll look at it and say, okay, great, let's improve on it, and vice versa. If something goes wrong, then they're going to go, okay, that's okay. Let's look at it and improve on it. And I feel like it's been a big help for a lot of the pitchers because they've been able to kind of work with kind of what they want to do. And, the pitching coaches are kind of like pushing, different grips, different things, and allowing the players to kind of feel what's best for them and work what's best for them. So, I love it. I think that it's great. We do live stuff on the field, and on the mound. So it's facing batters and all that stuff. So it's good preparation, and it's always like challenging behind the work that we're doing. It's not like easy. It's not like go out there and throw a couple pitches and you're good. No, it's like, all right, let's focus on this, work on this, and really hammer this so we can be good in the games. So I think it's a very positive thing, and I like where it's heading and what's going on. So yeah.
To piggyback on what Jack said, Thomas, you just got back from a pitch design. We're recording here on a Wednesday afternoon. How have you benefited from it? Just your overall thoughts on what that's been like this year for you?
Yeah, first of all, I think it's evolved even from spring training to where, like, maybe if you're not feeling as good, you can take it a little easier, dial the intent back a little bit. But if you're feeling good and you want to have like some competitive ABs in the middle of a week, you really can do that, and you can kind of go at hitters and do counts and do all that kind of stuff. And hitters will do the same too. Like, you can have some real intent behind what you're doing. But if you want to have, like today, for me, it was just we were working on a cue to hopefully get some more carry back on my fastball, which has been dipping a little bit. And, it was more of a chill, just kind of working on stuff and seeing how it goes and, checking the TrackMan and whatnot. and then halfway through, whatever we were working on wasn't quite doing what we thought it would. So we just banged it, and we went straight back into like what my normal PD was, is just some more competitive type stuff, and the carry improved just from doing that. So it's just experimenting and working, and obviously you get hitter comments in there too. It's one thing for somebody like Joe. Like Joe can tell me if it's carrying or not, but at the end of the day, we're trying to get hitters out. So if they're not seeing the ball well, then I must be doing something right, and if they're seeing the ball really well, I must be doing something wrong. So it's been great in that respect.
Joe, have you been able to be a hitter for one of these pitch design sessions, or are you always catching?
I have. No, I've definitely been both. I've been a part of both. Both opportunities are great because not only as a catcher am I working with the pitcher, talking about what pitches look like, what I saw, kind of like release points, how the body is, all that stuff. But also as a catcher, as a hitter, being able to see those things and, let pitchers know, hey, like this is easy to see, or, this pitch is a really good pitch. This pitch moves a lot, or something like that. So it benefits everybody, to the point where everybody's working with each other to try and make everybody better.
Gotcha. We're chatting with Joe Mack and Thomas White, these two repping the Marlins in the Futures game. And Thomas, I had one question for you, but then I checked the updated roster on the Futures game, and I totally have to deviate. I was going to ask you what it's like not being the biggest dude in the rotation, because you had a 6'7" Painter that was on the roster. You had a 6'6" Jackson Wiggins. You had a 6'6" Travis Sikora. But now I think all those guys are out, maybe except Wiggins. Painter's not throwing in it, and Sikora's not throwing in it. So now I got to pivot. Is there a certain guy that you're excited to chop it up with in terms of, top prospects around Major League Baseball? Hey, I really like what this pitching prospect does. Look forward to talking with him in Atlanta.
Honestly, it'll be exciting to see a bunch of people. It'll be good to see Joe again, obviously, and then I'd like to meet Noah Schultz. I never met him before, and he was there last year. I just didn't get the chance to kind of go up to him and see, say what's up. I think he's going, right?
Yeah.
So I hope I get the chance to run into him and maybe pick his brain a little bit and, see what he's up to. And, why not just kind of get to know some of the other guys on the other team too. So, if I ever get that chance to run into him, it'd be kind of cool to chop it up with him.
Thomas and Noah, probably the two best lefty pitching prospects in Major League Baseball.
So whoever wants to go on this, you could take it first. But I'm curious, and I think fans are too. Everyone has followed you guys, especially these last couple of months. You guys have obviously put up great numbers. You guys have been promoted. What were the conversations like with whether it was Peter or any of the higher ups? What was kind of the message to you guys for 2025 as far as expectations go, and again, where you feel like maybe you should be at the end of the year?
I'll let Joe go first on that one. I got to think of mine.
Being put on the spot. No, I'm kidding. I feel like when I was in big league spring training camp, they kind of gave me a pretty good idea, of what they wanted and expectations of, kind of what they were looking for. Definitely in continuing to improve off left-handed pitchers, working on spin, working on recognizing things, good intent with being up the field, all that stuff. And then, with catching, continue to work on my blocking, continue to keep the ball in front of me, square it up, and put myself in good positions to be an athlete behind the plate. And, honestly, I don't really look too far ahead of, this upcoming year. The remaining parts of this year. So, honestly, I'm just taking it one day at a time, staying here, being where my feet are, and just going through it every single day. So, I don't really have any expectations. Nothing's guaranteed. So, you just go in and grind through it every single day.
Yeah, for me, Joe kind of said it best. I didn't really start out where I thought I would. Going back to Beloit, and then, the message there was to just go dominate hitters, keep working on what we were working on in spring training, and continuing to improve the carry on the fastball, and just landing the new gyro slider for more strikes and throwing it a little harder, and then getting used to my newer changeup as well. So just kind of getting used to that stuff and being where my feet are. Like Joe said, I just learned that, really try and be where my feet are, not try to look too far ahead, and focus on what I'm doing now, and all the rest of that stuff will come. And I feel like that little mindset change for me helped a lot. and just enjoying my time in Beloit and going out there each week and B, once I got here, now it's like, okay, you're one step closer, but you gotta be here first before you're in Jacksonville and before you're in Miami.
Joe, Thomas, last one from me. You guys are going to go play in a major league ballpark, and you haven't done it obviously in a regular season in pro ball. But have you guys had experience there, whether it be All-American games or showcases? Joe, let's start with you. Early round pick out of high school, I would assume it was some sort of like All-American or maybe combine type thing that you participated in. What kind of experience do you have playing in a major league ballpark?
Yeah, I mean, I have actually a couple games under my belt in a big league ballpark. I remember playing at the Diamondbacks for it was an event for the fall league. We were able to play at the Diamondback Stadium, which was pretty cool. I didn't play a game there, but I actually played at the Braves Stadium. We did it was like a pre-workout, like a workout for high schoolers and stuff. So I was able to actually be there, take some ABs, and catch a live and play a little third and left field. So it's pretty cool. I have some decent experience with that, and then also the All-Star game as well. So
Gotcha.
Cool stuff.
Thomas, have you ever looked up and seen a third deck when you're pitching?
Yeah, the only time was last year. So last year in Texas, which the stadium is enormous.
Beautiful stadium, by the way.
Great stadium. Yeah, it's awesome, especially for a pitcher. I mean, I pitched in Fenway twice, but everything's right on top of you there. That place is obviously my favorite, being from Boston. But I pitched in the Rays place before for PG National. I've been to Atlanta a couple of times for the WWBA, so I've seen a couple of Braves games there, but I've never been on the field. So, that's obviously one of the best looking stadiums in the country. So I'm super pumped to get there and see what it's like to look all the way up for people.
Last one for me, guys, if I may. You guys are seeing what the organization is doing at this level. The Marlins have won as of right now 11 straight on the road. They've had a really nice year. We've seen what's going on in AAA, AA, and throughout. Just organizationally, what fires the both of you up the most about being part of this, representing the Marlins in the future All-Star game, but all in all, just what Peter Bendix and the entire crew is striving to do here in 2025 and beyond?
For me, obviously, I think it's more about like opportunities. They're wanting, the minor leaguers and the people that they get, to be the people that they have in the big leagues. And, they are doing everything they can, incorporating pitch designs, incorporating traject, incorporating different training regimens for us to, get better and allow us to be those pieces to the puzzle. And, when I think about that, it's pretty cool because there's a lot of opportunity and, we have a good organization to do it with. And, they always need some help in the big leagues and they've been doing good, which is great. But, it's still about the opportunity and, there's chances to come. So just, like Thomas said, like I said, just being where our feet are and not worrying about that and, knowing that will come if the time is right and when the time is right.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's really cool to kind of like Joe said, where they want us to be that next kind of group of players. Like, I don't think the guys that they see in the big leagues in the next couple of years are going to go anywhere. But it's really cool to kind of see the guys that we've come up with together starting to take that big league form. Like you can see like Nigel Belgrave's here shoving, Josh Eknes is here shoving, Jesse Bergen, like obviously Joe's hitting really well in AAA. Robbie Snelling just joined him up there, but it's really cool to kind of see there's this like kind of group of guys who hopefully should be there in the next couple of years that's starting to form and get better and mature as we go. And I think that's a really cool experience that, not that many orgs get to have because, some orgs develop guys to trade them for the All-Stars, right? So I think that's one of the coolest parts, and I look forward to hopefully being a part of that for the next couple of years.
Boys, I got one more. I'm sorry. And you can just give me 2 words. You need to give me a guy in AAA and in AA that's someone we're not talking about. You had mentioned some names, but I want you to give me a name that we're not talking enough about that is going under the radar is having a really good season that you're excited to see in the future?
There's so many names for me. I feel like I could name a couple.
Gotta name one, Thomas. Gotta name one.
Okay, I need a minute.
I can name one on the AA team right now. I feel like
All right, give me a double A and then give me a triple.
Josh Zamora. I've always been adamant about him. I always love the way that he plays, like how he just is such a gritty guy and just is always just, doing his best. So I think it's really cool. And then I would say probably Troy Johnston. I mean, he's always been good, but like this guy's just been on a tear. He's been just unbelievable, like consistently throughout his whole entire career. So I feel like for him, Troy Johnston should be a name you guys talk about a lot more.
Good shouts. Thomas?
Okay, I'm going to go AA pitcher and then AA hitter.
Perfect.
So I'm actually going to give you two names. And I was going to say Troy Johnston for AAA too. Obviously, I don't have that much. I don't know how everybody is doing up there because I'm obviously Joe's there and I'm not. But like I said before, Jesse Bergen, who is absolutely shoving this year, doing great, comes in at big spots for us and closes it down all the time. I'm actually going to name one more pitcher because I have to. Alex Williams has been great this year for us as well. And then Johnny Olmstead as a hitter. He hits the ball 1,000 miles an hour, and he's a great defender at short. So, there's so many guys I can name here. I couldn't just pick one, but I could go down half our roster and name a bunch of guys.
Very good. Very good. Fellas, congratulations again. Thomas White going to his second future All-Star game and Joe Mack breaking it in for number 1. So excited to watch you guys on Saturday in Atlanta at 4 p.m. Make sure to check it out. This has been Side Sessions. Thomas White, Joe Mack, thank you very much. I'm Steven Strom, Jack McMullen. We'll talk to you next time here on Side Sessions.